He said, "Man, that sure is some good-looking stagecoach. That's what they call a bus, a motorhome."
What really happened on set? Violent outbursts, sabotaged scenes, and the coffee throwing incident that left someone with second-degree burns. But the most explosive revelation wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. Today, the truth about Hollywood's most dangerous feud finally comes to light. Ernest Borgnine's path to Hollywood was anything but planned. Born Ernest Borgnine in 1917 in Hampton, Connecticut, started life as the son of Italian immigrants chasing the American dream, but before he could even form memories of his birthplace, his life took an unexpected turn. When he was just 2, his parents separated. His mother took him to Italy, where he spent the next 5 years completely surrounded by a new world. He lived in Carpi near Mod, speaking only Italian and absorbing the culture as if had been born there. Then in 1923 everything changed again. His parents reconciled and the family returned to the United States. This move wasn't just about coming home, it was about starting over. His father changed his name from Camillo to Charles. The family name was shortened from Borgnino to Borgnine, an attempt to fit in and sound more American for youngness. This shift in identity was just the beginning of many transformations that would define his future. Growing up in New Haven, Connecticut, Borgnine had no interest in acting. He wasn't the kid dreaming of Hollywood or sneaking into theaters to watch films. He was focused in sports, enjoying the physicality and competition. His high school yearbook had no mention of drama or theater. At that point there was nothing to suggest he would ever step in front of a camera, but fate had a different plan, and it started with the U.S. Navy. In 1935, fresh out office school, he enlisted. He was stationed in the USS Lamberton, serving on the destroyer for 6 years. By 1941 he was ready to move on, receiving an honorable discharge, but just 2 months later Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Watching his country go to war, he couldn't just sit back. He re-enlisted in January 1942, this time serving aboard the USS Scylla, patrol yacht tasked with defending the Atlantic coast. War changed him, hardened him. It gave him discipline and a deep understanding of camaraderie, something that would later shape the way he played military characters on screen. By the time he was discharged in 1945, he had risen to the rank of gunner's mate first class and earned multiple military honors. He almost made the Navy his career. He seriously considered dreamlisting for another 10 years. If he had, Hollywood would have never known his name. But then his mother said something that stuck with him. She told him he had a forceful personality and should try acting. That single suggestion changed everything. At first, acting seemed like a strange choice. He had no experience, no connections, and no idea where to start, but he didn't let that stop him. He enrolled in the Randall School of Drama, Hartford, then headed to Virginia, where he joined the Barter Theater. This was no glamorous start. The Barter Theater had been founded during the Great Depression with a simple but unusual idea: people could trade food for tickets. That meant actors were often paid in vegetables instead of money. Bourne didn't care. He took whatever roles he could get, performing night after night. When he wasn't on stage, he was behind the scenes, painting sets, fixing costumes, even scrubbing toilets. One night during a performance, he had to chase a live chicken across the stage. The bird escaped into the audience, flapping wildly as people screamed and laughed. It was chaos, but it taught him something important. He learned how to improvise, how to engage with the audience, how to turn a disaster into entertainment. He also worked alongside future stars like Gregory Peck and Patricia Neal, watching and learning. Then came his big moment. Helen did a role in Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie. He thought he wasterable. The audience disagreed. The performance was a success, and suddenly people started paying attention. By 1949 he was on Broadway. His debut role was in Harvey, a long-running play starring Hollywood legend James Stewart, but getting there hadn't been easy. Casting directors didn't know what to do with him. His face was too mean for comedy, too funny for drama. It seemed like no one could figure out where he fit, but Harvey proved them wrong. Playing a male nurse, Borgnorth found his place on stage, learning by watching Stewart's every move. He even kept a notebook, writing down observations, studying the way Stewart delivered lines, learning the craft in real time. The play ran for 775 performances, giving him the stability he needed. Then television came calling. In 1951 he made his TV debut in Captain Video and his Video Rangers, a low-budget sci-fi series where he played a villain. It wasn't a prestigious role, but it got him noticed. Columbia Pictures saw something in him, offering him a small part in The Whistle at Eaton Falls. It wasn't much, but it was a foot in the door. His breakout film role came with From Here to Eternity in 1953. Before Hollywood, he had spent 10 years in the U.S. Navy. That experience made him a natural fit for military roles, but nothing could prepare him for playing Sergeant Fatso Judson. The character was cruel and sadistic, a far cry from the real Borgnine, who was known for his kindness. The film's most disturbing scene showed Judson beating Frank Sinatra's character Angelo Maggiotto death with a nightstick. It was brutal, shocking, and hard to watch. Sinatra himself had doubted Borgnine's ability to play such a menacing role, but that doubt disappeared once filming started. Borgnine threw himself into the character completely. He isolated himself for days to get into the right mindset. When the cameras rolled, he became someone else entirely. His performance was so convincing that Sinatra refused to talk to him off camera for weeks. Even crew members avoided him. The intensity off the role didn't just affect his co-stars, it stayed with him long after filming ended. He later admitted that he had nightmares about the scene for months. Audiences had an even stronger reaction. Some people were so disturbed by his performance that they sent him death threats. Unable to separate the actor from the character, the role took a toll on him, but it also made him a st. 2 years later, he shocked Hollywood again. This time he wasn't playing a villain in Marty, he took on the role of an ordinary butcher looking for love. It was the complete opposite of Fatso Judson. The film itself was a gamble. It was made on a tiny budget of $343,000, an unheard of amount for a movie that would go on to win Best Picture, but Marty connected with audiences in a way no one expected. At the 1955 Academy Awards, Borgnine won Best Actor. He was 38, making him one of the oldest actors to win for a debut leading role. Even more surprising, he beat out Hollywood legends like James Dean and Spencer Tracy. His acceptance speech was simple. He thanked his mother for encouraging him to become an actor, but the truth was he almost never got the role in the first place. Director Albert Mann originally wanted Rod Steiger, who had played Marty in a television version. Borgnine wasn't even considered at first. That changed after a chance encounter at a Hollywood party. He charmed the producers so much that they decided to give him a screen test. His performance was so natural that Mann later said Ernest Borgnine didn't act Marty, he was Marty. That role didn't just change his career, it changed Hollywood, proving that movies didn't need big stars or huge budgets to win over audiences. Borgnine never let himself be boxed into one kind of role. In 1967, at 50 years old, he played General Warren in The Dirty Dozen, a film that became a cultural phenomenon. He insisted on doing all his own stunts, including a dangerous leap from a moving train. His younger co-stars, including Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson, were impressed by his stamina. 2 years later, he shocked audiences again in The Wild Bunch, one of the most violent westerns ever made. His character Dutch Angstrom was ruthless yet strangely likable. One scene stood out above the rest as he gunned down dozens of men. He laughed like a madman. That moment haunted him for years. Meanwhile, Ernest Borgnine's journey to television name was full of surprises. His big break in television came with Male's Navy. The show ran for 4 seasons and made him a household name. Borgnine played Lieutenant Commander Quentin Cale, a laid-back officer leading a misfit crew. The role was nothing like the intense characters he had played before. What most people didn't know was that his performance was shaped by real experience. He had served in the Navy during World War II, spending years aboard the USS Sill. That gave him a natural confidence in the role, even when the show was at its silliest. But Male's Navy wasn't just laughs and easy success. During the second season, Borgnine suffered a serious accident on set. A pyrotechnic device exploded too soon, burning his face and hands. Filming had to stop for 3 weeks while he recovered. When he came back, his dedication was stronger than ever. That same year, he earned an Emmy nomination for the role. The show even had an unexpected effect on real military operations. A classified memo from 1965 revealed that the U.S. Navy had consulted with the show's writers. Some officials believed Male's creative problem-solving could be useful in real life. The result was Operation Cale, a series of naval training exercises inspired by the show. Details about those exercises are still classified, but the fact that a sitcom influenced military strategy is unbelievable. Borgnine's television career kept changing in ways no one saw coming. In 1984, he took on the role of Dominic Santini in Airwolf, a fast-paced action series about a futuristic helicopter. By then he was 67 years old, but he refused to slow down. He even did many of his own stunts. That decision nearly cost him his life. In 1985, during filming, a helicopter lost control and crashed just feet from where he stood. His quick reflexes saved him and he walked away with only minor injuries. Then came a role that introduced him to an entirely new generation: Mermaid Man in SpongeBob SquarePants. It all started with his grandson, who was a huge fan of the show. The boy kept telling him he should be On it one night in 1998, Borgnine mentioned this at a charity event. A Nickelodeon executive was there and asked him to add a few lines right then and there with nothing but a napkin for a script. He delivered the performance that got him the job. Mermaid Man became a fan favorite, appearing in 17 episodes over 13 years. The show's creators even added little nods to Borg's real-life Navy service in the characters' dialogue. His final recording session happened just 2 weeks before his death in 2012 at 95. He was still working, making him one of the oldest active voice actors at the time for a man who became a TV legend. Borgnine once wanted nothing to do with television. In 1956, fresh off his Oscar win for Marty, he was offered the lead role in The Real McCoys. He turned it down, telling reporters television is a fad, it'll never last. Back then most movie stars saw TV as a step down. That mindset changed in 1961 at a charity event. He met a young boy battling a terminal illness. The child told him that watching his movies in the hospital brought him joy. That moment hit Borgnine hard. He realized television wasn't just about entertainment, it could reach people in a way that movies couldn't. By the time he decided he wanted to do TV, The Real McCoys was already a hit with Walter Brennan in the lead. That rejection was Alish Sun for Borgnine. When McHale's Navy came along just months later, he grabbed the opportunity. Years later he admitted he had been wrong about television. In an interview he said, "I was a fool to think TV was beneath me. It's not about these eyes of the screen, it's about the size of the audience's heart." Ernest Borgnine lived a life filled with unforgettable performances, but his love life was just as dramatic. Over 95 years he married 5 times. Some marriages ended in heartbreak, others in scandal, and one in lasting devotion. His first wife, Roa Kem, was with him before fame. They married in 1949 and had a daughter, Nene, in 1952. For nearly a decade they built a life together, but Hollywood changed everything as Borgnine's career took off. Their marriage fell apart by 1958. It was over. The next chapter in his love life began with Katy Jurado, a Mexican actress known for her fiery presence on screen and off. They married in 1959, but their relationship was anything but peace. Their fights made headlines and their passion often turned into public arguments. By 1963 they had enough. Another marriage ended, another lesson learned. Then came the shortest and most infamous of them all. In 1964 Borgnine married Broadway legend Ethel Merman. Their entire relationship lasted just over a month. At first it seemed like a Hollywood fairy tale. They married in June, then set off on a honeymoon to Japan.